I am loving.
I am fabulous.
I am beautiful.
I am saved.
I am a victor.
I am faithful.
I am devout.
I am accepted.
I am a Christian. I am MCC.
And I am MCC.
I am MCC.
I am MCC.
And I am MCC.
I am MCC. I am MCC.
I am MCC.
I am MCC.
Alleluia, 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 alleluia. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. Alleluia, 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 alleluia. Alleluia, 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 alleluia.
Thank you, Ollie, for our reading. And happy Pride. Happy Pride, happy Pride. Kahit na parang tense na tense tayo sa loob ng chapel. Dahil sa mga technical stuff. Pero happy Pride. Today is Pride Sunday. Talagang nag-fall sa Sunday na ito ang Pride Sunday, the 27th. Kasi either 27th or 28th yan. Kasi nga, Stonewall happened the night of 27th all the way to the 28th in the morning. No? So, kaya happy Pride today. So, for the past Sundays, I have been integrating the many of the major lessons ng the series Pose together with our proclamation sa Gospels, no? And the Gospels and God's inclusive love. Tayo nandito sa chapel, lahat ba tayo nakapanood ng Pose, the series Pose? Okay. So sa mga nakikinig sa atin, nanonood sa live, for the month of June, I've integrated the series Pose sa ating sa mga previous Sunday preachings. But first, I want to give thanks. Kahit hindi man nila ito makikita, mapapanood o mapapakinggan, I want to honor, give thanks, and appreciate all the individuals who made the series Pose, who made it, who created it. No? Yung from the writer and director na trans woman din, no? To the producers and the production staff, the editors, costume designers, makeup artists, ultimo yung mga administrative staff, yung mga naglinis, the cleaning team, drivers, cooks, all the way to the actors who made the story and the characters real and alive. So we are thankful for the series Pose. Blessings to them who made this what we consider as Now Testament. The Now Testament, the good news na available na sa atin. Kaya kung hindi nyo pa napapanood ang Pose, I encourage you that you watch it. You know, ako nung una hindi ko siya nung una siyang lumabas, hindi ko siya pinansin at hindi ko siya pinapansin even through series 2 na siya, episode season 2. Season 2. Hindi ko siya pinapansin. At hindi pa naman siya sobrang umano nun, 'di ba? O nagsumikat kagad yung series. But later on when I saw some of the mga video clips, no? I started to get interested with the series. At I became interested and napakalalim at napakalawak ng kwento at mensaheng ibinahagi o ibinabahagi ng series na posts. And it actually delivers a lot of biblical and theological messages. A lot of Jesus message. So I really encourage everyone, especially in the LGBTQ plus community, to give it a chance kahit na hindi parang feeling mo hindi mo siya interest, no? And to watch it. Tulad ng sabi ko, the series post ay marami siyang aral about self-acceptance, self-love, and self-actualization. No? To live free. To live free and to live the truth of who you are in a world that does not want you to exist. It has a lot of lessons about achieving one's dreams and ambitions. One's dreams and ambitions, especially in the person and the story of the character Electra. Dreams and ambitions that require sacrifice, effort, and a lot of discipline and focus. Also told in the story of Damon and Blanca. So may konting mga spoiler itong sermon ko, but I don't think di naman siya makaka-affect kung gusto mo pa ring panoorin yung post, no? So yun lang, ano tag dito? Fair warning lang na may konting chika about it. The show has a lot of lessons also about chosen families and friendships and being there for each other. Being responsible for the ones we chose to be our children, our siblings, and the ones we choose to be our parents, chosen parents. It has also a lot of lessons about parenting and mentoring that really struck something sa akin. No? It also taught me a lot of things about parenting and mentoring. There are also lessons of faith and spirituality. Pinakita dun sa series kasi may mga palabas ng maraming palabas na LGBTQI+ na shows, even BL series na almost walang mention ng tungkol sa pananampalataya. Wala hindi pinapakita hindi na may mention yung tungkol sa faith. But the series post did not shy away from it. There's one full episode about faith, no? Kay Pray Tell. And so there are lessons of faith in the series post. That LGBTQ people are people of faith. Even when the church have already kicked them out. LGBTQI+ people still pray. They still have reverence for the great mystery, and they find ways to see God in a different way than the one that they were taught of. It is also matapang din yung series when it talked about addiction and the terrible ways that we cope as an immediate response to trauma and burnout. No? Mabanggit ko naman dito. This was especially true in those episodes about do sa character na si Pray Tell, no, nung naging alcoholic. And those episodes where Lulu and Angel took drugs. Even someone like Pray Tell can and will resort to maladaptive coping because of all that he had to experience, endure, and witness. Mahirap talaga nung panahon nila at dun sa lugar nila dun sa New York. The mere fact that every week Pray Tell had to attend more funerals, had to attend several funerals of people in their community dying of AIDS or being murdered or because of drug addiction or all of those all together. AIDS, drugs, and being murdered. Kaya hindi magtataka kung bakit nag-snap na yung character Praytel, and sobra na, ang tindi, no? I cannot imagine living in such a time and witnessing so much death among your friends, among your loved ones, AIDS, drugs, and being murdered. But in the most terrible of times and periods of life, even in ways that the characters are in their worst, they were a family to each other. They have each other. There are a lot of lessons in Pose about strong sense of community and of being there for each other in life and in death. Lessons about showing up for one's self and for each other, na kung saan isang episode bonggang-bonggang nagalit si Praytel at binato niya ng trophy si Electra. Binato niya ng trophy. There are a lot of lessons about advocacy and the need to finally fight back and to continue fighting, resisting, and struggling even at the cost of one's freedom, career, and life. Fighting even when you're already dead and dust, as was the case in the closing part of the series. Okay, dead and dust, as was the case of Praytel. Many of them are indeed gospel message. But highlight kasi yung talagang punto ng message ko today, kailangan muna nitong unang highlight na ito. So the first highlight that I want to highlight in the series Pose is that no matter what happened and however low and terrible they got, with all the death that they had to witness, with their own, sa sarili nilang HIV status, and how they struggled with their HIV status, with every possible shit that could happen to them, that indeed happened, and sometimes they really wanted to give up, and said that they wanted to give up. With all of this, they continued and they endured. They continued and they endured. Sure, they all had fights and bickering and bonggang-bonggang mga pag-aaway at pagtatalakan sa isa't isa, turning tables. But they never gave up on life, on each other, and on what it means to be LGBTQI+. And Blanca, most of all, never gave on the community and the place they considered church, the ballrooms. Even when they already became successful and happy as individuals, no, naging nurse si Mother Blanca with a hot doctor boyfriend, successful talent manager si Papi, and successful model si Angel, ikinasal sila at nagkaroon sila ng maayos na pamilya. And si Lulu naman, isa ng accountant, no? Naging accountant. And of course, si Electra ay naging isang milyonarya. Sabi ni Electra, why do you still want to go back there? Ba't gusto mo pang bumalik dun sa mga ballrooms? Mainit, madumi, malagkit. Why do you still want to go there? Sabi ni Electra kay Blanca. We have already outgrown that place. And for some of us in MCC, we can actually echo those words of Electra. But Blanca reminds them that the ballroom is their community. It is their people, no matter what happens. No matter what happens, they need to be there the little boys and girls who need parents, elders, and older siblings, or happily living a domesticated life, they still need to be with their community, their people. I wanted to highlight that during this Pride Month bilang ang tema ng Pride. Yan ang temang lumabas sa atin ngayon eh. Sulong, Backlash, Pride 2021. Hindi pwedeng iwan ang community, ang movement, at ang little boys and girls who need us simply because tayo ay okay na. Tayo ay masaya na, tayo ay successful na, or tayo ay may jowa na. But the other point, the really point of my message for today, of what I really want to say today, not only for Open Table MCC, but for the larger LGBT movement. Sa mga kasama natin sa advokasya tulad ni Gio Potes ng Gender Office, or si Pastora Carlene, or si Coco ng IFI, or si Miss Naomi Fontanos, no? At napakarami pang ibang mga aktivista at mga advocates. What I want to say, the point of what I want to say today is, mga ate, magpahinga naman tayo. Pahinga din tayo. Kasi parang for a couple of years now, ang palaging panawagan sa Pride has to do with go, 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 laban, laban, laban. Ba, parang for how many years? Last year is yata wag papatinag. Yun, di ba? Yun ang ano. Ha? Sulong wag patinag. Tas ngayon, sulong bakla. So, for how many years, yan ang message. Yan ang panawagan. At wala namang mali doon. Tama naman yung panawagan na yan. Now, in highlighting the lessons of pushing forward, of not giving up, and of enduring, is also the need for us to rest and to heal. It is also important to realize and acknowledge that individually and as an organization or as a movement, tanggapin at aminin natin, we are tired. We are tired. Ang dami-daming webinars ngayong Pride, June month, sabay-sabay. Minsan sa isang araw, 4 na webinar magkakasabay. And I'm sure those organizers, those people organizing those events, online events, are all tired. So even as we call for sulong and the continuing of fight, we also have to admit to ourselves that we are tired. We are exhausted. We are all mentally and emotionally depleted. And if we really want to continue living and moving and fighting, we perhaps need to stop and rest. And sometimes, perhaps we also need to have space and distance from one another, from each other. This is the case in the story of Post, no? Nung minsan nag-away sila ng bonggang-bongga, ilang buwang hindi nagkita si Blanca saka si Praytel. They needed some time, distance, and space from each other. Para magpatuloy ang pagsulong, kailangan na rin nating magpahinga at magmuni-muni. Kailangan din natin mag-recover at maghilom. Napakaganda ng mensaheng sulong backlash. Oh. At tayo naman ay susulong. Pero we are tired. We are tired. Na sa pagsigaw ng sulong backlash, baka ang ilan sa atin ang maging sagot, no? Sa patuloy na, sulong wag patinag, sulong backlash. Baka ang sagot na o ang response na ng iba ay, ate, wait. Wait lang. Rest muna, ate. Baka pwedeng huminga lang, be. Diba? Hinga naman tayo. We have been trying to hold on and to keep going as individuals and as organizations, or as, in our case, as a church community of Open Table MCC, we have been holding on and we have tuloy-tuloy tayo, we have been keeping it going, especially for 1 year and 3 months of the pandemic. With some of our friends and loved ones dying. We witnessed them dying, like Sherwin and Kuya Mike. Perhaps it is to acknowledge that we need time and space to rest, to restore, and perhaps some of us need also a time to grieve. I think I still need time to grieve, personally. Perhaps it is time for us to check ourselves. Tignan natin ang ating sarili. Check our bruises, our wounds, and even internal afflictions. Yes, napakarami nating kailangang gawin. Napakarami pa ang nangangailangan. Pero kung gusto talaga nating magpatuloy sa ating mga ginagawa bilang individual at bilang mga organizations or a community, kung gusto nating wag mamatay bilang mga simbahan at organisasyon, bilang isang movement, perhaps we need to come to terms with our need to rest, reflect, heal, and restore. Sa atin dito sa Open Table MCC, we have been in existence for 15 years. 15 years ngayong darating na September. 15th anniversary natin sa September. In those 15 years, I have been with MCC for 10 years. 4 years of which as pastor. And I don't ever remember, I don't think that we have really ever stopped other than our yearly official Christmas break. May Christmas break tayo ng mga 1 o 2 linggo pag December sa Open Table. Pero other than that, for at least for the time that I have been with Open Table, we haven't really stopped. Diba? Even nung nagkagulo tayo nung 2012, dire-diretso Dire-diretso. Dumiretso tayo mag-worship kagad with our MCC Makati sisters and brothers. And then lumipat ulit ng QC. Dire-diretso. I don't think we ever really stopped. As a church, we have continued to carry the light of God's love for 15 years, even as we have experienced many challenges, struggles over the years. Individually, some of us had to continue our weekly, monthly, and yearly work of maintaining safe space, proclaiming God's love, and trying our best to participate in justice and advocacy work. May nagtanong, nakaka-burnout ba ang pride? May isang nagtanong, nakaka-burnout ba ang pride na parang hindi ko bet i-celebrate? Of course! Isang malaking yes, isang malaking check. Nakaka-burnout ang pride. Especially when you have been doing pride for 15, 20, 10 years, or even just for 3 years. Nakakapagod siya. We know that we have gaps and problems as early as 2015. And we try to do certain things and continue doing things from 2016 until we have found this chapel of ours. But throughout all the work we have done individually in this church and collectively as a group, we have been overworking ourselves. I have been overworking myself. And there are signs that while we continue to exist and do good work as Open Table MCC, there are signs showing that we have a certain sickness in our church community and that we are not getting better as the years are passing. The pandemic has made this even clearer, and I will be talking more about this in a separate video message before our Sabbath. But I want to acknowledge now and say that we need rest as Open Table MCC. We need rest. Kailangan natin magpahinga bilang isang community. Dati kasi, I mean, in at least in the last 3 to 5 years, si Gani Ray magpapahinga. After niya, si Gani naman magpapahinga. Diba? So, individually, may mga kapahingahan. Although parang si Chris, wala pang pahinga, no? Dire-diretso eh. Pero, we have not rested as a church. Now, as a church, kailangan natin magpahinga kung gusto nating patuloy na umiral. With this, and as the month of July is about to begin, I want to announce as early as now, and as a way of preparation, that Open Table MCC will go on a sabbatical for the whole month of August. After 15 years of uninterrupted ministry and service, the church will go on a Sabbath rest. At biblical yan. In the book of Leviticus, although hindi natin siyempre nasunod yung actual na provisions nung every 7th year, the book of Leviticus says that on every 7th year, you have to allow the land to rest. Siyempre, it's talking about agriculture, no? Nung panahon nila, for 6 years, aanihin mo, tatamnan mo yung lupa, but on the 7th year, buong taon, walang magtatanim. You will allow the land to rest. And so that is biblical. There is a sabbatical year. And so we are going to be on a sabbatical rest for 1 month. But it does not end there. The Sabbath rest is but one of the things we need to do for healing and renewal. After August, we would need to go into an intentional phase of healing and restoration as a church community. The leaders would also need to go on a retreat. Magre-retreat tayo once all of us have been vaccinated. The leaders and other people in our community all agree in previous conversations and meetings that Open Table MCC is still relevant. And the God-given mission we are doing together is still necessary. And I would believe that mismong ang Diyos ay ipinapakita at nangungusap sa atin na hindi pa tapos ang ating misyon at gawain. Ipinapakita ng Diyos ang kanyang faithfulness on all of the years and challenges that we had to go through, like in the series post. Ipinapakita niya na kasama pa rin natin siya. Kahit na maliit na simbahan tayo, with very few volunteers and resources, ipinakita ng Diyos na hindi niya tayo pinababayaan at nagagawa pa rin nating i-maintain ang chapel na ito at ang ating mga programa, even as the pandemic continues. Pero sinasabi rin siguro ng Diyos na kailangan nga nating magpahinga at maghilom at maging intentional sa kung paano tayo maghihilom para kumilos muli. Kaya sa August, talagang tayo, ang tawag dyan. Meron pa rin ipapublish na content on Sunday, pero naka-pre-upload na yon. Pero wala talaga operation ng church. At talagang don't talk to me sister, ang moda. No? Unless na lang emergency. Diba? Siyempre pag emergency, pwede naman. Pero all church operations will cease in August. Sinasabi ng Diyos na tayo ay magpahinga upang tayo ay maghilom para kumilos muli. While it seems and it feels dreadful and it feels like bleh, may ganung pakiramdam, a feeling of, I'm given hope and comfort by the series post that things will not always be as they are. Akala ba natin noon, forever na tayong nasa NCCP at nai-stress sa mga minsan walang tao dun sa NCCP dahil nakalimutan nilang may Sunday service tayo, hindi binuksan yung hindi binubuksan yung pinto. Akala ba natin that we will stay there? No. Things got better. And even if we feel the same thing right now, there's a feeling of bleh. I take hope and comfort that things will not always be as they are. I take hope and comfort that we will be healthier as a church community and that the best is yet to come for Open Table MCC. I was, one of the very notable impressions sa akin ng series post, at siguro marami naman din, syempre yung character at kwento ni Electra. Diba? And I got inspired by Electra's ambition and grandeur. Grandeur, a dream. I suddenly had this fire of dreaming and hoping for the day that we will consecrate ang Maala Cathedral na simbahan ng Open Table MCC na merong maalad dome na fresco. Di ba? Iniisip ko kasi nung napag-iisip-isip ko yan, what would be the sign and the mark of grandeur as would Electra have in terms of church? Sabi ko, gusto ko yung may dome. May dome na may magandang fresco doon. I dream and hope for that day that we will bless and consecrate our own church building na Maala Cathedral with a seating capacity. Ayoko naman super laki. Ayoko naman super Maala Antipolo Cathedral, no? Hindi naman ganon. Pero at least 350 seating capacity. 350 people ang seating capacity. Circular, na may malaking ang ceiling. Pero kung hindi man yan ma-achieve, sabi ko, kung hindi man, parang masyado namang ambitious, siguro pwede na yung diba? Kasi nag-check na ako may mga buildings pala, binibenta rin pala nila yung yung floor or unit, ganyan, parang condo. And may nakita ako sa BGC, 11 million pesos yung isang buong floor ng building. So something like that. And I got inspired to dream bigger for our church community. To aspire for that. At yung palaging sinasabi ni Electra na, I deserve that. We deserve a beautiful church. At na-echo din yan ni Troy Perry before. Sabi ni Troy Perry dun sa Call Me Troy sa documentary, we deserve to have a home of our own. A beautiful church of our own. And so I hope for that. I pray for that. Now, and I also hope that things will be better for all of us, individually. In as much as the individual characters in the series post also succeeded in their individual lives. I'm given hope and comfort that as individuals, we will all succeed, achieve, and attain happiness. even as there will always be new challenges for each one of us. At ang pinaka-ultimate goal talaga, well, not really the ultimate goal, but one of the ultimate goals, our prayer and our hope that one day, SOGI Equality Bill will become law. And not only that, but also marriage equality will also be attained, will also become law in this country. And that like in the series post, there will be much celebration and jubilation when those things and many other great things are finally achieved. But for now, we need to rest. We need to heal, individually and as the church community. We also need to go back. Part nung resting and healing is to go back to our roots and our core. We need to reestablish our connections and our bonds, so that doing so may we continue journeying with each other and for one another, so that we can be better individuals in our individual lives. Sabbath is necessary even if you are not Christian. Kahit hindi ka Kristiyano, ang Sabbath or ang pagpapahinga ay importante. It is necessary to be healthier and for you to be better, for us to be better. Henri Nouwen tells us, and I quote, "It is this restful heart that will attract those who are groping to find their way in life. When we have found our rest in God, we can do nothing other than minister. God's rest will be visible wherever we go and to whoever we meet." We need to reboot. Even computers need to rest for a while and to be rebooted. Paminsan-minsan, kailangan niya ng, ang tawag yan? Yung ano? Kailangan niyang i-reboot, i-reformat. And perhaps the reason why we're no longer as effective as before, or why we continue to be on a survival mode, is because we have failed to recognize a much-needed sabbatical rest from being church, and also rest from doing advocacy. We need to rest, and not just any rest, but to rest in God once more. We must find our way back to the reason and to the roots of why we are church and why we are Open Table MCC. And why, the reasons why we participate in advocacy. And we can only do that if we are intentional in resting and healing. So that we can be better friends. We can be better siblings and parents to one another. So that we can be healthier and a better church for our people. Or for those naman sa mga nakikinig sa atin, nanonood sa atin, ng mga ibang advocate and organizations. You must rest so that you can also become healthier, a healthier organization and a better leader for our continuing advocacy. To Open Table MCC sa atin, sa inyong mga nanonood sa atin na part ng MCC, tayo na Open Table MCC, which is you, kay Stanley, kay Johan, kay BJ, and many more others, kay Kuya Emil, and to all the LGBTQI+ individuals, especially activists, advocates, and grassroots organizations. Well done. Well done. Thank you. Well done. Good job. Good job for the many years of service and advocacy. Good job for still being here. for still being here, for being you, and for being alive. Salamat at pagpupugay sa inyo, sa inyong dire-diretsyong paglaban at pagsulong. Salamat at pagpupugay sa ating lahat, sa lahat ng kinailangan nating gawin over the years at nitong pandemic at ngayong nakakahagar na Pride Month ng 2021. Salamat at pagpupugay. Pero ngayon, tayo ay magpahinga at maghilom muna para sulong backlash muli.